us a little bit about the self-esteem training that can go on. And you mentioned before when we were talking off camera about a program for 11 to 19-year-old girls. Is that a massive reframing of how they think about themselves?
Yes, I think so. There's a program out in California. It's called Angel Faces, and it was started by a woman named Lisa Cartelli, who's a burn survivor herself. She was very badly burned when she was 9. She's beautiful. When you meet her, and most burn survivors, you get over it, like you notice it at first, and then within 5 minutes, you forget. JR, and this brings home what I was talking about earlier, how people feel their lives have been transformed in ways they could not possibly have imagined.
In a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Now, JR was injured when he drove over a landmine in Iraq, back when he was 19 years old. He had, almost 3 years of surgeries. He was very, very badly injured. But he went through all the anger and the resentment and the depression, and then he turned the corner very quickly and realized, this is my life. And
is that because he had training as a soldier? Or?
He had a great mom. Oh. He had a wonderful mother. She was a single mom and very hardworking, and she, had a couple of jobs, and she never complained. And he said, when he realized by her example, and she said, the people who are going to judge you by what you look like are not people worth knowing. You will get married, you will have love in your life, and you will go on. Yes. And he literally turned the corner. And now, would his life have turned out? Would he have been a celebrity and a soap star and Dancing with the Stars and the cover of People magazine?
Right.
No.
No.
And the other cool thing is that you learn life lessons because you have to dig so deep and really develop who you are as a person. Yeah. You learn those life lessons at an early age. So JR learned those incredible lessons
Big
at 19.
Lessons, right. So then you can...
most of us don't learn until we're 80 or never, know, and then it's kind of like, oh, and now I'm dying, and so they get to take advantage of it. And I think that is why once you can get over the physical manifestation and the scarring, there's a saying that I love: scars are like tattoos, just with better stories. Most of the characters are highly relatable in the film, and one of them is a mom, Karen McKemmy, and she's just like you or me, 3 teenage boys, lacrosse mom, all the kids played sports, 4 days before Christmas. Her husband is coming home after 10 months in Afghanistan, so she's excited. She's wrapping presents. She hears this whoosh, and she looks out the window, and there's her son, completely engulfed in flames, standing by the backyard fireplace. And you know what she did? She jumped through the window, jumped on top of him, and tried to put the flames out. And she did what any mother would do.
Yes,
you act out of instinct and love.
Yeah.
She got burned, he got burned. They're airlifted away to Augusta, Georgia. And here's George, the husband and dad, coming home after 10 months in Afghanistan and finds out, don't go home for Christmas. Go to Augusta, Georgia. Both your wife and son are in medically induced comas. So that's the really tragic part. But flash forward 3 years. Yeah. Connor was told 90% burn, they were told he had a less than 1% chance of survival. 3 years later, he's an athlete. He just won the state championship on their lacrosse team, and he's just been chosen for an elite team. And he also says, he goes, it's much easier to meet girls now. He is so confident, this kid.
So tell us a bit about the process of paying for it. How do you go about
getting funding?
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 ways of making a documentary. The ideal way is one that's fully funded. And that's usually when you go to a network and you pitch an idea and they go, great, we'll buy that. Now, you have all the funding up front, but you don't have creative control and you don't own the film. And, so it's a trade-off. With this particular film, I felt very strongly that I wanted to protect my interview subjects. Yes, sure. I did not want any whiff of exploitation. And, there is kind of a trend that way in television these days.
There is, definitely. Train wreck reality shows, yeah.
And so I decided that I would set it up as an independent, nonprofit production. So anyone who contributes to the film actually gets a tax receipt. Okay. As well as feeling like they're doing good.
Yeah, well, which they are. And did you consider Kickstarter or Unbound or any of those?
We did those crowdsourcing, fundraising efforts are terrific, and we're actually thinking we have that last 25,000 to raise, and we're thinking of doing that because we want original music. I've got a great composer, young composer in Nashville, who's working on the music. I'd like to pay him.
He'd like to be
paid. And graphics and things like that. There's a lot of expense involved with making a film that will hold up.
Okay. So if someone who's watching wants to help you, what would they do? Would they go to your website?
Go to our website. It's trialbyfiredoc. That's DOC, trialbyfiredoc.org.
Okay.
And there's lots of information, and please do, because there's a clip from the film. We feature, the opening of the film features beautiful music by Haley Westenra. It's just incredible. And there are clips of J.R. Martinez and Karen and Connor and all the people featured in the film.
Okay, so today's cocktail is a champagne cocktail, the favorite of Dorothy Parker.
Yes.
And Megan is very bravely going to open the champagne bottle.
No.
Are you okay to do that?
I am totally okay to do that. I have heard and I have learned that the key is not to pop it off as you see in the movies, but to have a towel.
Yes.
It's not as glamorous.
No.
And then you just ease it off, and now I'm not going to be able to do it. Now I'm going to be like reduced to, biting it.
Don't use your teeth.
Okay, here, you just ease it off very gently. It's okay. Don't back up.
Oh!
Isn't that beautiful?
Oh gosh, that's,
and then you get just a little bit of that.
That's really showing off, I think. But okay.
Now the key is, when I was little, my dad would make us, Shirley Temples, and then we knew that we were sophisticated young ladies.
Yes, quite.
When he would make us champagne cocktails. So a simple sugar cube goes in the bottom of each glass, and then you've got these bitters, Angostura bitters.
Now, does this actually taste bitter? Even I know it's called bitters.
A little bit,
is
yeah.
It? Yeah, and that's the whole point. Does it offset the sugar?
It offsets the sugar.
Right.
So you just do a splash.
Yes, a bit of a glob.
A glob, yep.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, you got to get it in the sugar.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Do you want to do
sugar.
yours?
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
I'll watch you.
It's kind of like iodine, isn't it?
I trust you. Yes, it is.
And then...
It smells a bit like iodine.
Yeah. And then you take, and this is lovely champagne, by the way, very nice. And then, of course, you pour it on the side like this, so you don't get too many bubbles.
Okay, so it doesn't overflow.
That's right.
Yes. You have good experience.
Listen to that. Yes. Oh, well, I love champagne.
Do
and
you?
Actually, when I first met my husband, he lived in New York. He was a television executive living in New York, and I was a, struggling producer up in Canada. And we met at a documentary conference.
Right. Over champagne.
And yes. And he flew up to see me the weekend after we met, and then he offered to, fly me down so I could see him.
Oh.
And as I was coming down, I was like, I don't even know this guy. I'm in New York. Nobody knows I'm here. He could be like psycho. And so we get to his apartment, and I was really nervous. And then he was showing me around, apartment on the Upper East Side, and I opened the fridge, and there was mayonnaise and a bottle of Veuve Clicquot. And I thought,
Man after your own heart.
This is going to be fun. Like mayonnaise and champagne, both things that I love. Okay, I think that we're even Steven here.
Okay.
So here we go. And you can see the sugar and the bubbles.
Oh, that's lovely.
Isn't that pretty?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot the lemon. Hold
now,
on.
do you like lemon with it? Because you know champagne better than I do. Is that
that
do you like
can
it?
be good. Yeah, you can do it. A little bit on the side like this, so you just have a taste.
I thought it was a bit odd to have lemon on champagne.
Yeah, well, you can also make a champagne cocktail with a bit of like an ounce of cognac.
Oh, that's what my dad used to do. Once in a while, he would make these. It was, again, very sophisticated, and he would make them with the sugar cube, but not lemon.
How do we do this without it going up our noses?
I don't think we can.
I don't think we
it
can.
has to go up our nose.
All right, cheers. Oh, cheers.
Chin, chin.
Chin,
yes,
chin.
Here's to Trial by Fire.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's tasty.
That is tasty.
I'm going to dispose of my lemon. I'll stick with the champagne.
I don't mind the lemon, though. Very good.
It's nice.
Thank you,
I think I'm going to have another one. Thank you.
Cheers.